On today's Men of the Apes, let the credits begin.
Divine bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, where there is fire, there is smoke.
Hello and welcome to Men of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I am Todd, drinking his pickle beer, wearing a Zeus comic shirt is
right.
Sean.
That's right.
And though over there across from me with the flowing locks, it is Richard.
And then there's Gertie.
Hello.
Hello.
And then we have Gertie.
We have Gertie. She's being a sweet girl right now. Are we excited about credits today?
Gets us closer to the end of the movie.
You know, I want to, before we roll things, because there's not a lot, to talk about what credits are rolling. And like I said yesterday, we're going to kind of, you guys roll the clip. You guys roll the clip with me and watch it. So if you see somebody you want to call out for anything, I'm not going to stop it down and whatnot. I want to beg to differ a little bit with Richard. I think it was Richard that was saying yesterday that this isn't, if he had started the movie where it ended, that might not be Tim Burton's style. Was that Sean that said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I know I said it wasn't the style.
As we took our little break between the episode, I let my mind go that imagine if it starts there and Tim Burton's weirdness, and you got to the experiments maybe they're running on humans and how twisted he could have made that. The facade out here looks like Earth, but it goes inside that. All I can think as these credits roll is of a missed opportunity. If they had really tried something, if they'd really pushed it to a new level and given me something fresh, instead of trying to go and put humans in a precarious slave type situation where they're not slaves. Again, let's get down to Anakin Skywalker is not a slave. He's a kid that runs around and says yippee and gets told when to go home. It's the same thing.
Are you an angel?
Oh. So let's roll the credits. Do you have any notes on this, Sean, where it begins and ends? Okay, so
where it begins and ends? Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. So minute 114, tell us who we begin and end with.
14 with a list of cast and ends with visual effects producer Tom C. Peitzman.
All right, we're going to roll them, and like I said, we'll talk through this. These minutes over the next 7 days, look, they're probably going to be fairly short. I think that we've kind of touched upon most of the themes, but we want to give you a little bit, so here we go. Got a lot of nice little percussive music. Yeah. But we see our cast, Wahlberg, Tim Roth. Roth.
I didn't realize that, hang on, we're going to get it here in a second. Lisa Marie's character was named Nova.
Oh, I told you that.
That's so long ago, though.
So, one thing that we didn't mention was I found a quote from Tim Roth where he was highly uncomfortable shooting those scenes with Charlton Heston. He said just because they are such from political different
opposites, I can see that.
Ends of the spectrum, and it took Tim Burton talking to him about it and assuring him. And they were worried about the scene itself, giving it to Charlton Heston because it was actually kind of anti-gun and the power. And Charlton's like, no, I think it's great. Let's go with it. He thought the irony of him being the one was there. But I found it interesting that Tim Roth at least...
I don't think it's anti-gun. I think it's pro-gun because he's saying, look, humans have this destructive power and now I'm giving it to you.
And here come the ends of this minute. And we end with our associate producers and also the visual effects person, Tom C. Peitzman. I think what they thought about was the destructive power and how they talk about that kind of thing. Because it says in this quote that they gave... I'm going to see if I can find it. As soon as you want something like this, it's impossible to dial right to that. Charlton Heston had no problem with the brief scene, even though it highlighted the perceived violent nature of firearms, said producer Richard Z. Zanuck. I was apprehensive when we wrote the scene and sent it to him. We didn't hear back from him for a while. Finally, I called him up and asked him what he thought of the lines, and he said, oh, yeah, I think they're wonderful. And Zanuck thought, oh, thank God we got away with the gun. So I get where they were all kind of worried about these kind of things, but I find it interesting that Tim Roth
didn't want to do the scene with
and
that,
especially at that point, you're not. Tim Roth is a fairly established. He's more of a character actor than just a lead actor. He's had lead roles, but he usually takes on characters. I find it a little odd that somebody at that point in a movie this big has the balls to go, yeah, I don't want to. I mean, I wouldn't want to either, but, I don't want to be in this movie for other reasons.
For what it's worth, the Limbo's first handler, Ape Commander, second Ape Soldier is Kevin Graveau.
Yep,
You guys might
comic
know
book
him.
writer and the deep boys.
You also might recognize him. He's been in a lot of movies, but he was also
Underworld, a lot of the
he was also
Underworld
he was the writer. He was the creator.
Oh, Underworld, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was his first produced writing credit. He came with the original concept for the Underworld series and wrote the original screenplay along with director Len Weissman.
He's the one that sounds like a deeper voice Michael Clark Duncan, to believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the one that sounds like he...
He's talking backwards.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
I definitely just think he should get some notice, even though he's just kind of a side actor in this.
They have I wonder if this is that actual person. It says Woman in Cart is played by Linda Harrison.
Huh.
Woman in Cart, Linda Harrison.
Yeah.
Woman
I
in
also
Cart.
find the interesting that Gorilla Kid and or Thade's niece is played by Deep Roy, which is the
It's
smaller
a little-
actor that has
that
been in a ton
Tim
of...
Burton loves to work with.
Yeah, and he put him in as the Oompa Loompas in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I didn't realize that was him. There's so many of these people that... So Limbo's first handler, Ape Commander, second Ape Soldier. So these people were playing three roles.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And
Yeah, okay, yeah. But she had a cameo in Tim Burton's 2001 remake. So
well,
what was
I
it?
hate that we missed her.
I did too.
I'm not
I
willing to
didn't
go
know.
back and watch it.
There you go. I'm right there with you. I did not pick that up. I did see something online one time where it's talking about movie plot holes that we did not even think about this whole time.
What?
So the apes are evolved apes from the Oberon crashing. The humans are evolved humans from the Oberon crashing. Where did the horses come from?
They were native to this planet.
I guess so.
But I think we did say something about the horses that maybe they could have done something to dress them and look a little different. Maybe anything just to, a wild
Alien 'em.
horse has a mane that is out there and flowing and things like
Put
that.
a unicorn horn on it. Just make it
Anything.
different.
Put a Thade face on them. That's apparently what you do in this world.
Yeah,
you just
the-
drop Thade face on them.
They didn't set up horses on the Oberon. Now, obviously, they don't have to set up everything, but yeah, the horses are out of place.
Did we
Yeah.
find out if that was actually Linda Harrison?
Yeah, it is. The Wikipedia
Wow.
says she made a cameo.
Wow. Old Ape number 2 is Rick Baker.
Oh, my goodness.
Is he credited?
Old Ape number 2, Rick Baker.
Look at that. Rick Baker himself gets a little moment.
There you go.
Yeah. Trying to see if we recognize any of these other names in this stuff. Oh, Taylor. Yeah, he owes me $20.
I wonder why they gave a credit to 1968 Planet of the Apes theatrical motion picture adapted by Michael Wilson and Rod Serling. Why did they feel
Because-
the need to credit that?
This is somehow based off that, so they have to
Maybe
somehow
the
give
legalities
credit.
and
Yeah,
whatnot?
It's a legal thing, I'm sure. Just like
Based off characters that were used.
Yes, but they should have.
they normally say based off characters
Pure
created
bull.
by. Yeah.
That's where I would have given, because the Rod Serling film is derivative of the original source. I would go back and credit that novel.
Because the novel is so significantly different than the movie that you're
Maybe.
adapting a movie and not the novel.
We have a really...
It's like if you made a sequel to Wanted, the movie, it would not be the comic book. Because the comic book is, in 1985, the DC bad guys won and took over and made a superhero reality into our reality.
Okay.
So Superman was really Superman, and they turned him into Christopher Reeves. And he's in a wheelchair now. Batman was really Batman, now he's Adam West, and they fuck with him. Wanted, the movie, was about people shooting each other and bending bullets and all this stuff. Had nothing to do with comic books. So if you made a sequel to Wanted, or a reimagining of Wanted, and made it about people shooting at everything, you would credit the movie and not the comic book.
And I get that, but I still find it curious that they don't do anything with Pierre Bull, because you're still taking his original source material and working from that.
Yeah.
I just find it weird. They had a shit ton of stunt players too.
Well, the stunt players are probably the gorillas in costumes.
Could
they
be,
didn't get them
yeah.
acting credits. They gave them stunt player credits, right?
Yeah.
They're running around in those costumes on the beach and
right.
at the nice little camp.
I don't know that
the
there's
Ape soccer kids, two of them were family, Cameron Crowell and Joshua Crowell.
well, you find kids on the street. Hey, you want to be an ape? Come on. Mm-hmm. You want to play some soccer? Put on an ape mask.
Stunt players, yeah. Just a big long list of stunt players, which you just assume is everybody who's in an ape costume. That it wasn't an actual credited character.
Well, that's the end of the minute. I don't know if anybody has notes they want to go beyond that. Hey, we're reaching the 10-minute mark. We did good with a minute of credits.
We did best we can.
Okay, I think that's about it. We will be back tomorrow with another thrilling minute worth of credits. Everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Come in.